Welcome to Die Hard. Very excited to have you guys back. Very excited to be back. I sound terrible. I got a little nose thing going. I got a little chest thing going. I got some lung things going. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm falling apart. Why is it so hard to get antibiotics? You know what I mean? Any place I'm in, where I can find cocaine or Molly, or I can find any kind of drug within 30 minutes in any continent, any state, any city. I don't even gotta know anybody. I could get it. But to get an antibiotic, I gotta go to a place. I gotta make an appointment. Doesn't anybody have like a Z-Pack guy? Don't any of these drug dealers, can't they hook me up with like, yo, dude, I'm in Sherman Oaks. I'll meet you at Ralph's parking lot at 3 a.m. Just bring me that Z-Pack. I'll get you some cash, dog. Why can't we have more of these? More of these adult drug dealers. You know, drug dealers for families. Drugs dealers for the everyday man who needs to tell some jokes in Atlanta, but his chest hurts. This weekend I was in Atlanta. I'm pretty proud of myself, so I'm going to take this moment to brag. I was in Atlanta. I felt absolutely terrible. I can't tell you how, it was bad. I was hurting. And yet what I'm proud of is that I was able to still do the shows. You know, I didn't use it as an excuse to be like, man, I'm just going to keep it to my 45 minutes, which is all I'm legally required to do. I didn't try to tell the crowd I'm feeling sick to get sympathy. I went out there and I just gave the best 70-minute show. Then I did the meet and greet. I didn't scrap the meet and greet. I didn't say, hey, I'm not coming out to sell posters because my chest hurts, my voice is gone. I said, no, let's do it. And then the next show, we went out and did it again. Also, these weren't paid meet and greets. It was just me out there meeting and greeting the people. It's not like I could have very easily stayed in the green room and kept drinking my tea.
So if you got sick in Atlanta at the meet and greet, all we're trying to say
absolutely.
is...
Yeah, it was me. No, it's not contagious. A chest infection is not contagious. That's why I need a what is it called? Like a steroid or something like that. I don't know. I need my pharmacy drug dealer to tell me what I got. No, but I definitely am not contagious, but I still did everything. I still did all the stuff. I was being told that my friends who went to Dave Attell, they said he only did 30 minutes of stand-up because he was also in Atlanta at the same time. He had his openers went out for an hour and a half before him, and then Dave only did 30 minutes of material. And I was like, dude, I'm sitting here with a chest infection. I'm still doing the shows. I'm also a little more grindy. I'm still trying to climb the ladder. Dave Attell's at the top of the mountain.
He's got a few years in the game on you.
He's so great. But that was no shade to Dave Attell. I'm just putting myself over, saying, dude, I care about this job. If you come to my shows, I'm gonna do as much as my material as I can for as long as I can up there, even without a voice and even when I'm hurting. In fact, on Wednesday, before I flew to Austin and then Atlanta for my weekend of gigs, I went to I was on stage at the Comedy Store in the OR. I had some friends even in that room, and I had no voice. It was the only time I've ever done stand-up comedy with no voice. And it hurt. I was like, it sounded like that. And I got no laughs for the first 60 seconds. And I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those things. Which also, even if I would have bombed the entire set, at least I'd have had something to blame it on. I was like, dude, I have no voice. What do you want me to do? But I was able to lock in and try to make it work voiceless. Yeah, Atlanta was great. If you guys came to Atlanta, I love that place. The Punchline feels like a true comedy club in the fashion that it's terrible. Real comedy clubs feel terrible. They feel old and out of date. And this isn't an old diner, and it's such a great place. So when I say it's bad, I mean that's what makes it great, is that it's kind of rat shit. It's in a little diner in this weird area of Buckhead on the corner of a intersection. Really, really fun. Shout out to Nikki and Andrew. That's where they live, and they were great. My boy Justin drove down from Atlanta, or over from Atlanta, wherever Atlanta is geographically, and it was a really good time. I had fun. Josh Nelson opened for me, so that was cool. Yeah, so thank you to Atlanta. I am going to be moving. I'm buying a second home in Austin, Texas. I know there were talks about this about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and that fell through during the fires and all these different things that kind of lost sight of that goal. And now we're back. The market is buyable again, and I'm very, very excited. So I'm looking at properties. I'm going to be doing Joe Rogan on the 11th, and on the 12th, I got all day. I'm looking at houses. I'm very, very excited about that. That being said, I'll still be here in Los Angeles. You can still see me at the Comedy Store. You can still see me at Laugh Factory. You can still see me at the Improv and the Comedy Magic Club. But I will be living half of my life in Texas. And so I'm very, very excited about that move. A little new chapter for me. A new project. Something you might not know about me. I'm a big interior design guy. I love decorating. And it sounds super gay. But I love like putting furniture in a room and like the way it looks and how, like, you know, I love a home. I love building my home. So now I'll have a new home to get all obsessed with. So I'm super excited about that. That's a Jeff Dye update. Thank you to everyone who's been subscribing and commenting. I got a lot of responses already on the code switching being racist thing. A lot of people said never thought of it like that. And so I don't know if that means they agree or disagree, but they're just kind of saying, yeah, I guess I see where you're coming from, at least. It is weird to change your vernacular because of the race of people that you're sitting around. That it's a weird thing. When you spell it out like that, it makes it sound very strange. First topic of today's episode. I went to Hollywood Horror Nights. I go every single year. I never shut up about it. I'm quite a know-it-all about it. I am always talking about Hollywood Horror Nights. I'm always saying, oh, here's what we do. So I don't need to refresh you on that. Took a bunch of comic buddies to the to Hollywood Horror Nights. We had a great time. Here's what I hate about Hollywood Horror Nights, and this might be a little bit of a repeat. They only scare the girls. I paid. Scare me. I don't like that they're always going, and I get why they go after the girls. I imagine if I had face paint and a big scary costume and my whole job was to scare people at a theme park for $20 an hour, I imagine I would target the best reactions, you know? Get teenage girls. They're going to scream the loudest, you know? You got to, but I paid. Try to scare me too. I'm very easily scared. Scare me. Scare the boys. We're the ones who bought the tickets. That being said, it was still a very, very good time. An interesting full circle moment kind of happened. It's not a big circle in my life, but it was a full circle moment. In the year 2014, probably, I'm going to guess, 2014 maybe, I went to Hollywood Horror Nights with my girlfriend at the time, Rebecca Quinn, who is known as WWE's Becky Lynch. I try not to talk about her a lot because her fans will go crazy and everybody. I'm not trying to revel in our past relationship. She's married now and has kids, and I wish her and her husband the best, and I watch them on TV all the time, and I root for them, and I love them. But when we were dating, I drug her to Hollywood Horror Nights like I do with any woman I've ever dated in my entire life. And while we were there, she said, you know who's here is Bray Wyatt and his wife JoJo. And I was like, this is a dream come true. I am obsessed with Bray Wyatt. And I always kind of hid how much of a big wrestling fan I was around her. She knew I was a wrestling fan, but like I'm a big wrestling fan, and I try to never like look like a big nerd. And she's like, yeah, you want to like walk around and hang out with them? And I was like, yes. So we walked over and we literally got to kick it and spend the evening with Bray Wyatt. Now, the reason this is cool is if you don't watch wrestling, there are certain wrestlers who just have like a name, like Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, or they're just kind of like a man. It's like UFC. They're these strong, cool guys, and they don't have much of a gimmick. And then there's some wrestlers who have like a gimmick, like Sergeant Slaughter is a sergeant, Big Boss Man is a police officer, Doink the Clown is a clown, and then that's their gimmick.
What's the Undertaker?
The Undertaker is the next level, where he's able to do almost supernatural things and we don't even question it. Like, you're like, why was he able to put his hand out and set something on fire? Why is he able to appear and disappear? And this is a very unique tier of wrestling that some people hate, but some wrestlers are able to kind of transcend reality on these shows, and they let him be able to do these things.
He got his Mortal Kombat powers.
It's amazing. Because you're like, why would that happen? And you're like, it's Undertaker. And we've always let certain wrestlers do this. Undertaker's the best example, so you asked that at a perfect time. But Kane is another one, who's in the Undertaker storyline as his like evil brother. Well, a little bit after those guys, the kind of like next era of wrestling, enter this guy who is the son of famous wrestler IRS from the 80s and 90s, Erwin R. Scheiser. Scheiser? I don't know. It's a fake name, but it doesn't matter. His son was Bray Wyatt. Now, Bray Wyatt was so creative and so interested in like this paranormal realm that he came up with all these characters that were just like Undertaker, where they would be able to do supernatural things, and the audience loved it so much that we didn't bother questioning if it was real or why it was happening. So, to be at a Halloween thing like Hollywood Horror Nights with the Halloween wrestler of the era, Bray Wyatt, was such a cool thing for me. Now, the reason I'm telling this story and why I said it went full circle is because Bray Wyatt passed away. He's no longer with us. He died very young. He died of a health thing that nobody foresaw. It was very unexpected. Probably one of the most shocking things to happen to the wrestling community in forever. Like when wrestlers die, it's usually, it's always tragic, but it's especially saddening when they're this young. He was really kind of like the face of wrestling, and to die at such a young age felt kind of like Kobe, but if Kobe would have died like while he played for the Lakers, like it felt very, very sad for everyone involved. Well, since then, because Bray Wyatt is the Halloween wrestler of sorts, they made a maze for him at Hollywood Horror Nights. It's called the Wyatt Six, based on his little brother Bo Dallas's what do they call it? A stable. So the Wyatt Six is a stable of wrestlers led by Bo Dallas, who is Bray Wyatt's little brother in real life, and those guys, they basically are fulfilling the storyline based on all the things that Bray Wyatt wanted to do in wrestling. And the guy in the middle, Uncle Howdy, is Bo Dallas's character that, like, I mean, he sounds and looks and acts like his brother because they're actually brothers, but also they're carrying on this legacy. So anyways, they gave him a maze. I got to go through it, and it was kind of cool to just be back at Hollywood Horror Nights and seeing, like, how Bray would have thought this was so cool. And it was so awesome. And I know that I'm not trying to pretend I was friends with Bray Wyatt. We didn't hang out and go to dinners and text message. But I would tweet at him sometimes, and he would write back like a little, whoa.
Oops, sorry.
He would reply back to me with like little funny things like in DMs. Like he was a fan of my comedy and I was a huge fan of his wrestling. And we did get to spend one little chapter of a night together at Hollywood Horror Nights. So to go back to Hollywood Horror Nights and get to see him in this maze and see a whole thing dedicated to him was awesome. It was so cool. Really, really good night. The Seattle Mariners lost to the Toronto Blue Jays. It felt so real, Mike. We really thought we were going to the World Series. When we won those first two games against the Jays in Toronto, I thought, well, this is it. We're definitely going. I was so excited. It did go to a Game 7, which is very exciting. For the majority of that Game 7, we were winning. It felt like it was going to happen. And it just wasn't in the cards. Big congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays. You guys beat us. And I said, listen, if they can come back when we've won 2 on the road, they're the better team. But that was me just trying to be
cordial.
Yeah,
respectful.
cordial. Yeah, because I mean, as much as it's true, I just didn't hope that would happen. I thought, so we joined the Milwaukee Brewers and the Chicago Cubs and the Cleveland Guardians and the Detroit Tigers of just disappointed teams who had to march their humbled asses back to their hometown. It was so embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, but just so like we were so close. And one thing that sucks is like I don't know if we'll ever see this team again. You know, it won't be exactly the same, at least. Like there's players we're going to lose. I loved this exact team. Love Naylor. I love Mitch Garver off the bench. I love Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh and Julio. Like, we have such a cool team. Our pitching staff is cool. Our bullpen's cool. Our batters, every part of it seems so good and so real. And Hopefully next year. It was very, very discouraging. The only silver lining was that I didn't have to cancel all these comedy shows because I was going to cancel everything and be like, I'm going to the World Series. And it also couldn't have worked, like it would have worked out great because the Dodgers won, so I could have went to all the games here in town. It sucked. So now it is the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I hate it. The Dodgers.
Yeah, there's nothing fun about the Dodgers at this point. You're a super team.
Who's rooting for them?
I mean, they barely feel like they're rooting for them. When they won the NLCS in a sweep, like, it just looked like any game. They're like, all right.
They didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even celebrate. Like, I couldn't believe it. I got to meet Blake Snell at the Lakers game on, I think it was whenever the home opener was. He was back there, and I walked up to him. I just went up to him, though, because I'm from Kent, Washington, and he's from Shoreline, Washington. And I walked up and I go, dude, comedian Jeff Dye. He goes, yeah, I know who you are. I said, I'm from Kent, Washington, and I'm a huge Mariners fan. And we were really hoping you'd come to the Mariners. He goes, me too. He was just so open about saying that. He was like, dude, I'm from, or maybe I said I'm from Washington State. And he goes, what part are you from? I go, I'm from Kent. And he goes, my wife is from Kent. And she was like, really? And she went to Kent Ridge, and I went to Kentwood, so rival schools. But pretty cool, small little world. And he was like, dude, we were rooting for the Mariners. We were hoping we'd play them in the World Series. So there is a little thing in these players where they still do have a little bit of a team they cherished from when they were younger.
Especially a guy like him who's been traded around to a lot of different organizations.
Oh, yeah.
It makes him like, well, I can still love my home team that I grew up with is home, instead of being like, I played 20 years in Boston. I can't say anything about any other team.
Well, I wish we'd have got him. Because, I mean, like, especially after meeting him, he was so stinking nice and cool. And, like, our pitching staff with a Blake Snell, holy shit. We would smoke the Dodgers, or we would do really well. Yeah, so sports has not been great this week. I mean, the Lakers lost the home opener to Golden State. That was disappointing. Now, Luka's hurt. Austin Reeves put up 50 points last night, by the way. Luka, even though he's injured, the games before he got hurt, he put up like almost 50. Like, it's crazy. Our team's looking good, and with white boys.
50 is great, but it's hard to think about compared to what 50 was when we were kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the scoring is just so different now.
For sure.
Like 80 points would be like the score at the end of some games back then in the 90s.
That's true. Well, I just think it's amazing the guys that are doing it. You know, like Austin Reeves. Like, that's such a fun guy to get that much points. I think the LeBron era is over too. Like, him sitting on the bench pouting and being like a little brat, even like the whole thing about the LeBron. I'm sure as the season goes on, you'll hear me crash out about this a lot, but my opinion of LeBron is changing. I am not enjoying his behavior, to be fair.
Well, if he knows he's not going to be signed by the Lakers this year, it's all about, hey, my legacy is let's get to the playoffs and see if we can make a championship run. We probably won't, but I don't think he's retiring, so I think he's trying to stay healthy to see who's going to give him the next bag.
Well, go ahead, but then, like, who would want to work with you? Who wants to work with a guy pouting and acting like a jerk?
But he's only pouting and acting like a jerk because he's trying to just stay healthy for the next team.
It's
not great, but
I wouldn't want to work with it.
I think there's some team that's in Shitsfield and knows that they can be a contender as soon as they put him on their lineup. And
I'd pay $20 billion and trade any player in the world to have LeBron James at age 30 on my basketball team. But to have a 40-year-old pouty, grumpy, leveraging everything, maybe gambling, by the way, and thinks he's the king of the world still, LeBron, I don't want it on my team at all. It's not a good look. And it's not like he is at an age where injury isn't a possibility, so there's a lot of that.
That's why he doesn't want to get injured right now at the beginning of a season, a meaningless basketball
What he
games.
should do is go win a championship and try to make the Lakers even want to keep him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should try to be the greatest. That's what people respond to, in my opinion. All right, let's see what else is going on in the world. What do you got for me, brother?
So, speaking about gambling and basketball, What do you know about this?
Okay.
2019-ish, I think, where there was this game. It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups. And the person who told me about it was like, look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up. And I was like, well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is not. I had some friends who went and played it both in LA and in Vegas. and it obviously like was.
So mind you,
for
this is from
sure confirmed
2023.
he cheated. Like people who clearly didn't even understand the rules of no limit hold'em are just like jamming hundreds of big blinds in with like a gutty and then just drilling it. Only the pros are losing. It was basically confirmed amongst all of the pros that the game was cheated, but there's just no recourse.
Gotcha.
And they got absolutely flayed. Well, it's tough too whenever you're dealing with somebody like high profile like that, because they carry a lot of weight and hold a lot of power. So all you can do is like kind of unite together. And
All right, so you get the picture though.
Yeah.
Chauncey Billups running illegal gambling.
Here's what I don't understand. How much money do you guys need? It blows my mind. Here's the difference. If you tell me my friend Josh Nelson or Mike or any of these guys are cheating or like trying to run a scam to get like extra money or rig a poker game, it all kind of like makes sense to me, which you guys don't. You don't even do those sort of things. Where I get like confused is like, why do people cheat when they're at the top? Why is it like a Chauncey Billups? What is his net worth? Like, what does he have? I get why you want to make more money. I get that. Why risk it all when you're already rich? That's what it's like. And when I say rich, I mean like super rich. So it's like a guy like
It seems like his net worth should be around 130 million or more.
that's what I don't understand. So it's like you're going to risk that. You're going to risk your reputation and risk all these things. I get if you're desperate. I get if you're a hustler. I get if you get off on the rush of things. But if you're already have more than a few $1 million or $100 million like this guy, what are you gaining by risking your reputation? Because now Chauncey Billups is going to be a punchline from now on whenever we talk about gambling. And
Oh yeah,
things
no one's
like
gonna
that.
remember you as a basketball
Right.
player now.
So why risk that? Why would you? Nobody wants to go into business with you anymore. Like, why are you risking it? I guess I hate the sentence, how much money do you need? Because we all love money and like that's how the world works. And I get that. So that was a dumb sentence to say. But why risk all the money that you already have by doing some scandalous shit?
And at the same time, we say maybe has the 130 mil. We see all these documentaries about how all these guys are broke. So
Yeah.
having it and supposed to have it are like two very different things.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, so you think
who
maybe he is
knows?
desperate and like that's why he pulled this bullshit?
I have no clue, but that's what would make more sense in my mind
I mean, he was the head coach for the Portland Trailblazers like when?
now.
Yeah, so that's my point.
Yeah, I guess
He's
how
got
poor can he
incoming
be?
money coming. Like that's incoming money. I just don't understand like the risking. Because here's the thing, I was reading this story and they were like, yeah, the mob's involved. And I'm like, the mob still exists? I didn't even know the mob still existed, let alone that it's involved in the NBA.
The level of
And
microchips and like, scanning contacts and table scanners,
Yeah.
like it's crazy.
Have you seen the thing of like how many players are suspected to be a part of this?
Ugh, no.
There's a great video of someone record this guy. I don't know if it's all he does, but it's one of the things he does is he goes back and looks at all these games because they're all televised, and go to Gary Payton Jr. Oh no, just go Gary Payton Jr. gambling. So I'd go to maybe one of these reels.
Gary Payton on NBA games. Watch his reaction after the shot goes through. It's a 14-point game now, right? Now it's an 11-point game. The Warriors were minus 12 to win this game. Look at his reaction. Look
They
at
just
Chris
won.
Paul in the back. He's in on it too. Crazy. Gary Payton Jr.
Like,
just
why is
got
he
caught
so
gambling on NBA
upset?
games. Watch his reaction after the shot goes through. It's a 14-point game now, right? Now it's an 11-point game. The Warriors were minus 12 to win this game. Look at his reaction. Look at Chris Paul in the back. He's
There's
in
a
on
different
it too.
video too where you can actually see them talking, and they're like holding towels over there. They're such like animated people, these basketball because they're kids. They're 20-year-old something, millionaires, and so they're all like giddy and like getting carried away. Like he's got a towel over his head. They're all like over the top, being weird about it. But anyways, I kept finding all these videos, and I was like, what the fuck are these players doing? Like, why? Like, what is it about? They just can't behave.
Yeah, now with FanDuel and stuff where you can bet on just an individual player, guys are playing 2 minutes and then be like, my knee, I'm out, and getting all their unders hit, so all their buddies. So some of the things the NBA has been catching on guys is all the crazy bets that suddenly come in on some nobody player.
Right.
And the NBA flags it, and the player thinks he got away with it, and then 6 months later they're like, oh no, Vegas and everyone knew about your bet immediately, but yeah, they were like, oh, well, let's just run this back and see where it leads first.
Dude, it's crazy that these people think that they could get away with this. Like, in modern times, I don't know how you can get away with anything. There's such a trail of all these things. Yeah, so very weird. Very interesting. Whenever someone says, oh, do you think that these sports games are rigged or do these refs dirty? I always go, nah. No, and I say it so confidently, and I'm always wrong. It's always like 10 years later, they go, oh, yeah, you saw that whole documentary with that NBA referee. Like, I'm always wrong.
Yeah.
This shit is like, there's people trying to cheat and do dirty things and all this shit.
Well, speaking of NBA and pressure moments, did you see this Michael Jordan clip?
Nope.
He said he hasn't felt this much pressure.
I was at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah,
And I rented a house from the owner.
sure.
He came over to do pictures. He had grandkids. And I was meet and greet and thank him for allowing me to stay in the house. And he had a basketball court. He says, I want you to shoot one free throw. So when I stepped up to shoot the free throw, it's the most nervous I've been in years.
Stop it.
In years.
Stop it. Come on.
And reason being is those kids heard the stories from the parents about what I did
So he said
30 years ago.
they cut it out, but he hadn't shot a ball in like 5 years.
Absolutely. I was at the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, they cut this down to be shorter, but he hadn't shot a ball in years, he said. Like, doesn't keep a basketball at the house, just doesn't even want to go back to that part of his life, and then had to do it in front of kids, and he said it was all the pressure.
That's crazy to me that he doesn't have a basketball around or... You're Michael Jordan.
Well,
What a weird guy. The most obsessed, and like you can find him in documentaries talking about, obviously before 5 years ago, because what I'm about to say doesn't match up with this at all. You can find him in documentaries talking shit like I could take Larry Bird today, or I could like he's so competitive, and it's just in there that he talked about it all the time. So to find out that he hasn't shot a basketball or held a basketball and in those things for 5 years is mind-boggling.
yeah. But yeah, interesting reaction, though, to see that he'd be so nervous now.
Yeah.
And
But he made it.
yeah, he made it.
He made the hoop. That's good. Also, even the setup to that is very strange. Oh, we were out there doing pictures, thanking him for letting me stay in the house. Like, does he not want to rent a house? He's got to go do meet and greets and shoot free throws to try to get a free place to crash?
I think he's probably staying in a very large, very famous rich person's house.
Yeah, just rent a place. You're rich, dude. He's so rich. How much could it cost to rent the biggest house in the world? Like 20 grand for a night?
Well, that's what I think it is, though. He was renting this place, but when you rent a place that big and that rich and whatever, the owner gets to meet you.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I'd say, no, I got money. I don't want anybody bothering me. That's great.
I think at that level, that's how it works.
Because that would be worth it for sure. I'd rent my place for free to Jordan if I get to take pictures with him. The kids get to come meet him. Also, if he hasn't shot a basketball for 5 years and he did it for this guy, who is this guy? He's
the guy who's got a house so big that Michael Jordan wants to stay in it.
That's
That's who
wild.
it is.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty-
Michael Jordan might want to meet him too.
it's pretty insane to me. What else you got? You got anything else?
Yeah, did you see this about the Laugh Factory manager in Chicago?
I am very interested because I know the Laugh Factory manager in Chicago.
Him? That's him and his mother.
Why are you doing this to him? Stop! Are you taking it? You're taking it. Why are you taking it?
So, he was accused of closing the door on one of the officer's legs in his car while trying to help someone else. It's a weird story, so they arrested him too.
Oh my goodness.
And now he's being charged federally and could face up to 8 years in prison.
He was interfering with ICE. Is
Yeah.
this ICE?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, guys. You know, we're here in the comedy business of stand-up comedy. It's a comedy business, and when you go political like that, there's going to be consequences, You see what he's doing here? The Laugh Factory Chicago manager went political, and look what happened. Look what happens when you go political, dude. This is it's just risky stuff. He shouldn't have done that. He should have stayed neutral. Just had a nice little comedy life. I don't know why these these people in comedy want to be so political all the time. That's very strange. I don't know this guy though. I know they must have a different manager. It says night manager. I don't know what that means, because stand-up comedy is always at night, and I thought the manager was a guy named Curtis. So I don't know who that guy is. That's kind of strange.
Glad it wasn't Curtis.
I know, no doubt.
Here's a fun little quick reaction for everybody. Just makes me want to tour abroad and see the rest of the world. Know there's some cool stuff out here. Check this out.
The hell's going on in this thing?
Didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
That's how they take out the trash in the Netherlands and all the trash cans.
That's wild.
I kind of like that.
I like how big it never gets full down there, does it?
Yeah.
Or, like that thing looks like it'd get full immediately, but it's how deep it goes down.
Or America, why don't we have these?
I just realized that anyone who listens to this podcast is going to hate this video reaction stuff because they can't see it. A little drill thing came off of a truck, popped down under this trash can, and then a big compartment underneath the trash can lifted up, and then they emptied it in a truck. And it is pretty fascinating. I had no idea that's what it was like. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard, I don't know if this is true or not, it's probably not. It's probably one of these myths that everyone shared around, like a Mandela effect, is the garbage cans at Disneyland. Walt never wanted to have overflowing garbage cans. Like, he thought to himself, like, that's in a magical kingdom, there would never be garbage on the ground or overflowing out of a trash. So they just go down into like this underground area. So when you put a piece of trash in there, it just either goes into some tunnel that takes it to a chute. Basically big trash chutes.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, I love that. That can't all be like that, but I'm guessing.
Man, just think if New York City could figure something like this out, because God, it's fucking gross.
That would be great.
Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw these. It's like, New York?
Yeah. Or maybe if they had like a garbage facility underneath, like that's just like you don't even have to take the thing to empty it. Just completely go down there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good idea.
Elon Musk and his Boring Company could finally figure something out to make that useful, because clearly people aren't driving cars underground.
Not yet. These things take time. I was just in, so I flew to Austin to perform a private gig for my boy Zachary Levi. Shazam. Chuck. Great man. He's a really great guy. He's working on this huge project out there. And so I did some comedy for the investors, which was also what inspired my, I need to get to Austin, kind of just because it was so peaceful out there. It was great. Everyone was so nice. I'm trying to think why I brought that up. Oh, he lives right by the Boring Company, and or he has a ranch that's right by the Boring Company and X. And those buildings are huge. The facilities are great. Like where the people go when they're not working, they have like this like little commissary kind of area. It's not just for Boring Company employees, but like that's the only people that go there because it's in the middle of nowhere. It was pretty sweet.
I know they got like one road or something in Vegas that people can go on that the Boring Company made.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I think these things take time, especially if you're going to change a whole system. How do you determine who can take the tunnels? How do the tunnels work? How many exits do the tunnels have? Like if you're just trying to get to San Diego, a tunnel's great. But if you're trying to take something that's 4 exits away, you can't. The tunnel, it's complex. I imagine that's going to take 100 years to figure out. But they're working on it,
At this rate, we'll see if we're still a country. We've been shut down for 4 weeks.
Well, that government shutdown hasn't affected me at all. Has it affected you?
I think it's about to start affecting a lot of people.
What is this? What is this headline? Food stamps. Let's talk about it.
Stamps if the government shutdown continues. As the shutdown is nearing the 3-week mark, the Agriculture Department says the SNAP program, aka food stamps, will run out of money come November, which is in 2 weeks, if the government shutdown continues. The administration has already shifted about $300 million from its tariff revenue to keep WIC, which helps moms and kids running for now, but they say there isn't enough left to cover SNAP benefits for next month. Federal officials have already told states to hold off on sending out November SNAP payments until further notice, meaning families won't know when or if their next round of benefits will arrive.
This is tough for me. I don't know if I should say how I feel about this. I feel like so many people just take advantage of this stuff. You know, like this might affect some ideal. You know, there's some ideal of like these poor women and children who can't eat. Like that's what you want to believe it is. You want to believe that everyone that is taking SNAP or EBT or any of these things is the least of us. They're the least of us. They have nothing. If they can't eat, their basic human right to eat. You know, this is what like AOC or any of these kind of like people who use culture war and they use these politics to divide and they use these things. That's what they want you to think, right? Now, the reality of the world is a lot of people live off of EBT. And they depend on it, and they do all these things. So where I'm conflicted is I don't know where the truth is. How many people are genuinely needing this? How many people are dependent on it? And how many people are taking advantage of it? I don't know those numbers. They're probably impossible to get, but that's why I'm a little insensitive about the subject.
I did some napkin math, which made me not care as much and be happy to just put money into this system. They said something, at first the big number is like, oh, that's a huge number. It was something like $140 billion of taxpayer money goes to SNAP, and you're just like, holy shit, that's so much money.
Yeah.
But then when you look at it and break it all down with how many people there are, adult taxpayers and everything, I think it's only like $500 a year per person that is making enough money to pay into it. So if I have to pay $500 a year to make sure that there's like a baseline across the country that pays into these systems, I think there's much worse things that taxes and things are being spent on. So I'm so cool with that. If you could line that money up against like the amount of money they spend on just testing shooting guns for war, like it's...
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm not outraged for sure. Like it doesn't bother me that $500 of my dollars a year goes to something like it doesn't bother me. I'm definitely not upset. But also, do I care if it doesn't go to that? I don't know if I do either. I'm just so like ignorant, I would say, about the subject that you don't have to get too fired up about my opinions on it. I don't understand at this point in my life, this is a political stance, is that one thing I thought Democrats and Republicans could agree on is that the government doesn't spend our money well. I thought that was one thing Republicans and Democrats would go, I agree with that. I agree with that last one, that they're not spending our money good enough. So you think that would then in turn make your next step be like, I don't trust them. And what I've noticed, and I could be wrong again, let's have a conversation, is that the Democrats seem to really believe in the government. They really believe like the government's going to save me. Oh, this program, if we just had more money into this program and take more money from these rich people to put into these programs and do all this stuff. But those programs don't work. And the programs are often cons. You know, like these nonprofits or these like little pop-ups, like they're all just scams lining their pockets, and very little goes to the thing they claim. It's always like just to kind of creating their own jobs, if you will. And so I'm just wondering, why are Democrats, and maybe, whatever, maybe that's a loose generalization, not all, but why are so many Democrats so optimistic about the government helping them? Why do they believe that the government is going to defend their rights and defend their things? And then while simultaneously not even liking the police or not even like their president or not even liking these things. It's like I don't really understand where the trust in this government comes.
I don't think they are at the moment optimistic that anything will help them. I think they're idealist in the fact that they want to create a system that does work in that way and does help people and help them.
Right.
I don't think anyone for a long time on either side has thought that it's working correctly.
Well, so why do they think that if socialism or any of these things that they would like to make work, why do they think that would work? because it would be run by a government. A government would enforce the socialism. Why would they be optimistic about that? Like, what makes them think that that would be carried out in any other way than what the way this is carried out?
Who knows? You'd have to get deep and get a politician
It
in here and start
really
asking
makes no
questions.
sense. I feel like the smartest conclusion to come to is I don't trust the government. Get them the fuck out of my pockets. I'll make my money however I can make it. I'll pay whatever minimum baseline taxes that I need to for things that are in the community, like paved roads, power companies, police departments, street lights and stuff like that. But for the most part, like, let's just you got to figure out where you can contribute to society, and you make as much money doing that, whatever that is, whether it's selling drugs or whether it's playing Major League Baseball. You figure out where you contribute to your society to make the most money for yourself, and you try to get the government out of it. Stop going, maybe the government will let us have weed. Maybe the government, why are you trusting the government? They've been rat fucking us for hundreds of years. And then you goes, well, Jeff, why are you always sucking off Donald Trump? I'm not a Donald Trump guy. I mean, I am more than the other guy, but that's because I have to choose between these two-party systems. I don't see an optimistic third party that's reared its head since I've been alive.
But the government's meant to have safeguards in place. That's what it's for. And if you don't have safeguards on capitalism, just like the roads, things will get real ugly quick.
Sure.
You'll have people saying it's like, oh, that cancer medication? Well, I finally got enough money to buy and own that, and now I'm going to change the price to this.
Sure.
Fuck you guys. Like, it'll turn into winning the game of Monopoly.
Right.
And there will be some people who will suddenly win real quick.
But it happens all the time. It's happening.
Right,
So what are they so optimistic of? Like, what do they think's going to happen? Who would enforce this socialism that they're so optimistic about? Like greed is alive and well. I don't understand the plan. The plan seems to me like I am very suspicious of my government. But the things that make sense to me make sense. I don't live in any ideals of like, well, if the government would just do this. Like, I don't know. I don't understand.
I don't think socialism is trying to be communism and make everyone all equals together. And I don't think they're even trying to give people enough to like have a super happy life. But I think if you can provide health care at some level towards everyone.
No way. I'm anti-health care for everyone. Don't like it. Don't want it. You don't get health care. And I'll tell you why. Because you live in the freest country in the world. A country so free that they'll let you do heroin on a public sidewalk in front of a business for 8 years, shouting bomb threats and shit in your jeans, and they'll just ignore you and let you do whatever you want. You can inject in your thing, you can eat McDonald's, you can literally do anything you want. That's how free we are. That you can literally do anything. And then you're gonna cry that you need a hospital bed? It's like, no, bro, you ate Taco Bell at 4 a.m. every single night. You drank your liver till it was black. We're way too free for the people to then cry that like, oh my gosh, I can't even afford basic health. It's like, I bet you can. I bet you can afford it. Go into your house and look around at all the things you have. You could afford that shit. You could definitely afford a doctor's visit if it's an emergency or if something's going on. Like, I in these little countries that have like 100 people or whatever, like I get why their healthcare works for them.
But
there's
the only
not that
reason
many
those people who can afford it that you're talking about is because of this system. And it isn't because it's necessarily free, but it is all of these socialism things that make it so poor people can even get close to affording what they're trying to charge for, because people also call the healthcare system the health cartel, because what's going on in that because of capitalism. I mean, they're charging hundreds of dollars for plastic bags there.
I don't blame that on capitalism.
I sure do.
I don't. I blame it on greed. It's always greed. So, like, what happens is that
Which is part of capitalism.
They make us get insurance, which I blame the government for. They force us. We're legally mandated to have insurance, right? And then the insurance company charges these hospitals and charges all these people this crazy amount. And since the hospitals know that it's an insurance company, they jack up all the prices. So we're just like these pawns in this greed scheme. I don't see how capitalism gets involved in that. Insurance itself is a scam. Like that's those are the systems we should be breaking down, not our basic capitalism, which works good. You can work your ass off in India as hard as you want, 7 jobs and fucking whatever. There's no proof that you'll be successful. In America with capitalism, if you work really hard, you will succeed. You can work your ass off and you will be able to, eat, and you'll be able to live. Like we're the only country we're the only country. Capitalism is the only system that guarantees that. As opposed to just working a bunch hard and they just keep giving it to all your buddies who fucking don't do shit. That's how I see it.
Still think there's a lot of gray area in there. Where
it is more complex than the way I'm making it sound, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm aware of that for sure. Like, I know that it's very, very tough. But it's like, that's why these subjects shouldn't be this vague, Like, it's like when someone like Bill Burr one time on his thing was like, he took back the free Luigi thing, and then he was like, he's made some like really loosey-goosey statement about healthcare, and I was like, even that is so vague, Bill, and I should be able to quote it better if I'm going to reference it, but it was something like, well, they can't even afford to get a cavity filled, and it's like, I bet they could afford to get a cavity filled. I think we talk too like easy about what is poor. I kind of talked about it last episode, but it's like we say poor like a little too strangely. Here's an idea. I don't know how we can make this work. This is my idea for teachers. Teachers should be famous, right? So when if you go to a grocery store and you see a teacher in the in your local grocer, you say, hey, that's my son's teacher. I'm going to buy these groceries for her. That's how we should treat teachers. Now, I don't want teachers to be rich. I don't want them to make $500,000 a year, because then people like my buddy Randy or someone like that's going to go, I want to be a teacher. They make, how much money they make? You know how much bread they make? You don't want the job to pay so much that that now like people are doing it just to become rich. You want people to do it because they love kids and they want to help and they've got the right spirit and heart for that job. And the way we could incentivize that by not paying them more is by like just giving them a better lifestyle. When we see them in public, we treat them like the way we would if we saw a Kardashian or a pro athlete. We go, oh my gosh, that's Miss Anderson. Miss Anderson, hey, can we buy your brunch? Or like, you treat them good. And also, if they're a shit teacher, you don't treat them good. You say, I fucking hate on my son's 5th grade teacher. And then that would make them, because the money's so bad, and now socially they're being shamed, that they wouldn't want to be a teacher no more. They'll go find a regular job. I think that teachers are always bitching about how they don't make enough money. And I'm like, well, maybe money isn't the answer, because it's never going to be enough. Just like we said earlier, it's never going to be enough.
I think China's working on a social credit system right now.
How would it work?
Well, I think they've made some Black Mirror episodes on it now, but it's kind of basically like, be a bitch and your credit score goes down in society.
I like that.
If you're likable and you're a nice teacher, your credit score goes up and everyone treats you well.
I like that.
So if you're not a nice person, you might not get things. You might not have access to stuff. You might not be able to get on the bus. You might not be able to do certain things until you act better within the view. But who makes the views of what's good and bad and what's better?
Maybe
big government doesn't like this podcast because we say naughty words.
Well,
so
big government wouldn't decide.
Go?
I don't like them to decide. I'm saying we should decide socially. People like when people are nice to each other, give a little love. Put it in the hands of each other, like that Black Mirror episode. And so, there'd be too many people cheating.
And so then we'd have to vote on peers to represent us and then let them be in charge of making those decisions like a government?
I like it in theory. Because now I'm thinking about it. Someone would hack it, or a guy like me and you would go, hey, buddy, I'll just keep giving you a good score. You keep giving me a good score until we, there'd be all these people. That's the problem. Everything just gets taken advantage of. But I do like this in theory. I remember when I watched the Black Mirror episode. It's with, what's the girl with the red hair?
Howard. What's her?
Bryce
Ron
Dallas
Howard's
Howard.
daughter, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that's her name.
Yes,
She, it was episode 1 of that seasons of Black Mirror, and And basically the premise, if you haven't seen it, is as you go through life, like she'll say good morning to someone, like, good morning, Michael. And then he'll say, oh, good to see you. And you look great. No, you look great. And then as they walk apart, they're like, that was a pleasant interaction. They kind of give each other like 5 stars. And then that helps your social score. And so it's similar to like how many followers you have on Instagram or something, but like it affects your everyday life.
Just causes everyone to be fake.
You only qualify for a certain, home. You only qualify. And then the realest character in the one is like this lesbian truck driver who's just like, I'm off the grid. I'm not doing that shit anymore. I don't care. And I'm the only person in the history of that show who watched that episode and was like, I'd love that. I'd crush it on that. Because if like everything's just based on like interactions, I feel like I would have a high score. I mean, maybe I'm delusional. I don't know. Like, I feel like I was like, dude, this would be great.
You'd say one trans joke in West LA. And
Yeah.
Doom, 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 doom.
Yeah, I never thought
Then
of
you'd have
it
to
like that.
fly back to Austin and then do 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 do.
It would really increase bubbles,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? Like, because people would only hang out with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I don't like it. I don't even like it in an ideal. Interesting. Well, I don't. Good luck, China. Let's see if you can figure this shit out. Can you bring up my calendar? Tell the people where I'm going to be. By the time this episode comes out, I will be back at the Stand in New York City. I think that's November 5th. That is at 10 p.m. New York. That will sell out, so get tickets for that pretty quick. Then I'm going to Denver. Comedy Works. I'll be in the Greenwood Village Comedy Works. It's in, they call it Comedy Works South, but it's Denver. I'll be there. Hopefully it'll be cold when I get there. Then I'm off to Texas. I will be at the Comedy Mothership the 10th, 11th, and 12th. I'll be on Joe Rogan on the 11th. I'm doing Kill Tony on the 10th. Then from Austin, I go to Australia. I'll be in Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney, and Perth. Long flight out there. Hopefully by the time I get there, it'll be worth it. See some beautiful Australian ladies, some cool Australian dudes, tell some jokes, have some coffee. Hopefully this chest infection will be gone. I'll be smoking some cigars with y'all. I'm very, very excited. And then I'm off to Bricktown Comedy Club in Oklahoma City. For all of these dates and all of these tickets and all of these details, go to jeffdye.com, click on the little markers next to the dates, and you can buy tickets for all this. Very, very excited. You guys are here joining me on Die Hard. I'd love it if you would share this with someone, or if you would shoot a link to somebody, or whatever the hell's going on. Share about Die Hard. It's free for everyone. Let us know your notes and your thoughts. Sorry about the people listening for the segments where we were just kind of showing some videos. Apologies for that. If you want to watch this podcast, know what the hell we were talking about, go to YouTube, and you can check out all these episodes. It's all visual. I'm here live. You can watch it on youtube.com. Subscribe to that. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Talk soon.